Hello everyone, I am standing on the end of the Lake McCarthy Trail that kind of winds its way around the place where we're staying on vacation. And while I walk the length of this trail today, I am going to review for you the Harry Potter series. I'm going to dispense with the synopsis for this particular review because I'm going to assume that most of the people watching this know it. Even if you haven't read the books or watched the movies or are in any way part of the fandom, and I know I've got some viewers who are not Harry Potter fans, but even so, you've probably heard enough about it for the last 10, 11 years that you have a pretty good idea of what the plot is. So I'm just going to move right into the reasons why I think Harry Potter is one of my favorite series. Reason number one is Harry himself. I remember one of the first things that attracted me to this series and got me to keep reading was the fact that Harry and I had a lot in common. We both wore glasses, we both had hair that stuck up, we were both kind of skinny and awkward and not really much to look at, and we both believed ourselves to be completely ordinary. Harry is a relatable character. A lot of people have a lot of things in common with him, and so he was attractive to most people. Reason number two, the other characters. Even if you didn't have anything in common with Harry Potter, you were bound to have something in common with one of the other characters in the book. And they are described and developed incredibly well. J.K. Rowling, like many good children's authors, is a master of textual caricature. So when she first describes these characters, she kind of does so in a very whimsical and quirky way, and yet she describes them in such a way that we recognize them. We know these characters. There's the best friend who comes from kind of a poor family with a lot of kids. There's the annoying know-it-all. There's the rich, snobby bully. There's the kid who can't get anything right. We know these kids. She initially describes them this way, but we follow them for the next 7 years. And they change over the course of those 7 years, and these 7 years are their teenage years when they're kind of trying to figure out who they are, too. And so we watch their characters grow and develop. And so we see different characters in Book 7 than we saw in Book 1, and yet they're still familiar to us because we've been following them all this time. Reason number three, the hero's journey, which is going to be the subject of my other Harry Potter review/analysis. Harry's story is a familiar one. It's an ancient story archetype. And so that's another reason why we like Harry Potter. He is the hero. He's the good guy. But he's not the same hero that we have read about before. He's not the same hero that always seems to know what's going on and what to do next. We're told the story from his point of view, and basically from the point of view of a kid, and he doesn't always know what to do and what's going on. Sometimes he guesses, sometimes he just kind of stumbles his way through. And the fact that he is so ordinary and is so downtrodden and does wish to be whisked away somewhere, that's kind of a wish that a lot of adolescents have. Even if they're not really downtrodden, they think that they are, and they long to be whisked away somewhere, to be told that they're really a wizard, they can do magic, and they're going to go to the school where they can learn how to do magic. And so Harry's desire kind of echoes our own in that way. Reason number four, this series has that magical balance between fluff and substance. And it's a balance that I look for in just about everything that I read or watch on TV or watch as a movie. I like comedy, I like jokes, but I also like there to be substance. And Harry Potter has that. It's a very whimsical and quirky style, of course. And it has jokes, and it has, the trifling troubles of a 12, 13-year-old, classes and Quidditch and winning and all this sort of thing. And of course, later in the series, it has the romantic intrigues. But it also has serious issues, and as anyone who's read the series knows, as we get progressively further into the series, it gets progressively darker. And I mean, the series starts out with a double murder. And so in the midst of all of the jokes and all of the lighthearted romance and all that sort of thing, there are also serious issues about death and love and friendship and other major complicated philosophical issues to see in this book. Reason number five. Anybody who's read the series knows that one of the great things about it, one of the things that keeps us reading the series, is the plot twists. The intricate plots of the books and the little subplots that are interwoven, and that epiphany moment in each book where you find everything finally comes together and you finally get it. J.K. Rowling writes these plots beautifully, and it's obvious that a lot of planning went into these plots. And not just in the individual books, but also in the series as a whole. She set things up in Book 1 that don't really come to fruition until Book 7. And the plot twists are such that you don't see them coming. But once you get to that moment and you understand everything, you look back and you say, now why didn't I see that coming? That made perfect sense. And of course, the fact that she has had the series planned out from beginning to end helps a great deal. It all connects. It's all one big story. Reason number 6. J.K. Rowling kind of takes the same idea that Michael Scott took in his Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel series, which is that every story from mythology and legend is to some degree true. And so she takes a lot of mythology and a lot of legend and she weaves it into this world that she has created. The wizarding world is every bit as detailed as J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth. And you can tell reading the books that it's every bit as detailed, that she has a whole bunch of this history and stuff planned out. The difference is that she doesn't tell us every detail of the world. She only tells us the things that we need to know for this particular story, and doesn't go off on chapter-long tangents about some minutia of the world. And yes, I'm looking at you, J.R.R. Tolkien. And finally, reason number 7. The 7th and last reason. You know how I did 7 reasons, 7 books? Yeah, I'm really clever that way. This book is more than just a great story. It's also a great piece of literature. Well on its way to becoming a classic piece of literature. And you might scoff and say, oh, it's only a children's book, it's only a children's series, it can't be that great. But there is so much in this story to analyze. I've gotten into the habit of rereading the series every year, and what I'm trying to do is finding something new to analyze every year. Last year I looked at the parallels between the various books. This year I'm looking at the hero's journey. And there's also character development to analyze, there's symbolism to analyze, there are other storytelling techniques, as well as how she portrays the very serious messages of death and love and friendship. And at the same time as she has made this classic piece of literature, it is also a great story to tell your kids before they go to sleep. It is not pretentious at all. It is still, for all intents and purposes, a children's story. And now I am back at the point from which I started this review. I believe the next favorite books review is going to be My Life as a Smashed Burrito with Extra Hot Sauce by Bill Myers. And I might be doing that book review from back at the house, but on the other hand, I might be doing that book review from my new apartment in Bowling Green. So we'll see. It kind of depends on when I get around to filming it. And so from Lake McCarthy in Stratford, Ontario, Canada, I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.